Oregon visits Arizona State. Oregon, a 9.5-point favorite. Total is 68.5. Chuck Edel, this is going to be one of your free plays. How are you looking at this one, Chuck?
I'm going total here. And I think a little bit of an inflated number. You know, when you think of Arizona State and you think of Oregon, you immediately think high-scoring game, and rightfully so. The total is 68.5. But when you really dig into the game, Arizona State this year with a very good defense. In fact, they're third in the country in sacks. They're eighth in total defense. Meanwhile, Oregon, not that bad of a defense. They're about 30th defensively. And this is an Oregon team, you know, who runs the ball. In fact, they're 11th in the country rushing attempts. It's not, you know, when Oregon, you know, scores, you know, in the past we've seen a lot more maybe throwing out of them. This year, a lot more running the ball. They are a team. They still have those quick drives. Let's face it, they're not, you know. But 60.5, the quarterback, Kelly, for Arizona State, he doesn't have a great arm, but he's very accurate. But he's going to settle for the 4, 5, 6-yard passes instead of those long, quick scores. And I think 60.5, you know Arizona State is going to try whatever they can do to control the time of possession. Sure. They don't want to get into track meet. And this is a pretty solid Arizona State team who I think could compete here, and they're going to try to use as much clock. They do not want to get in a track meet here.
I think when you look at some raw numbers from Oregon, they gave up some big numbers, especially early in the season, in the second half of games.
When you're up by 40.
When you're up, I think they might have been up by 50.
That's what I mean. You got to give them a little extra credit for that, because a lot of that is junk yardage. And how motivated could your defense be when your offense is scoring on every possession?
Well, and I think Chuck hit it too. He says Arizona State, he expects to be very competitive in this game. When I heard you were picking this, I thought you were going dog, because I think Arizona State, I don't think they're going to win, but I do think they're a very competitive team. This is not going to be a walk in the park.
I like Arizona State in this game. I made my line 6. And I'm getting double digits here. And I agree with you. I think that early move, and I got ahead of myself with the other one, that it was this one, total 66, went to 68. I think that's a case of the sharp money knowing they could set themselves up later, because you're going to get out ahead of the market. You nailed it right on the head. The money's going to be on the over. For those not willing to lay the points with Oregon, I think the books are going to need the dog here. But for bettors not willing to lay the price with Oregon or looking to tie it up in parlays and teasers, the only way they're going to do it is with the over. And I think this over is going to get straight money as well. So I think it's a case of bettors trying to get out ahead of the market. I wouldn't be surprised if on game day the public pushes up even higher. Then you see some late steam bringing it back down to work a middle, or have that be the actual position the big money comes in on. I agree with you. I think it's going to be a tighter game than most expect. I like ASU. I like the under.
Chuck, you talked about the defense from Oregon, very underrated. In the last couple of years, Kelly has gone out and tried to get athletes on that defensive side that are comparable to what he's produced offensively, and it looks like it's starting to kick in about now.
The speed of Oregon's defense much faster than it used to be, and just like their offense now, he's recruiting a lot of speed on defense. They're only giving up, even though they've given up a lot of those second half points when they put in some backups and maybe played a little looser. They're still only giving up about 20 points a game, and I agree with both of you guys. I think Arizona State's a live dog. I think the game, I want it to be a little closer because. Of course, I don't want nothing to
open up.
To open up here, and the way Arizona State, their offense this year, with Kelly doing a great job, but he's very accurate, almost 73% completion ratio, but not a lot of long passes. He's a guy who has a good
drive down the field.
Yep, and that's what they're going to try to do here. But this Arizona State defense, I think that's the key right here for the under. 8th in the country. They've played some good teams. They've shut them down, and they get to the quarterback. I mean, they are, like I said, they're 3rd in the country sacking the quarterback, and it's going to be they're not going to be overwhelmed by the Oregon offensive line.
I'll tell you the truth. I'm really looking forward to watching this game.
Because Oregon, I want to see how they do against a defense like this, because it's been easy for them so far, and I don't think it's going to be an easy night, not against Arizona State.
And really the first true road game, because the game against Washington State, that was kind of
in Seattle.
It was in Seattle because their stadium's getting renovated. So the new quarterback, his first road game, really a true road game.
Okay, we have talked about it. Chuck, you sound pretty convincing.
Oregon, Arizona State. I think this line, they made it too high because of the perception of both these high-scoring teams. Arizona State, 8th best team in the country, 3rd in sacks. Don't underestimate an improved Oregon defense. Arizona State will try to use a lot of clock in this game. Does not want to get in a track meet here. I like it under the 68.5.
I agree with him. I think I like the dog and the under. I don't think he could go 0-2 there.
Well, Chuck's making it official. He's going with the under.
He's all over.
I thought he was going to go with the dog in this one.
Too.
Like I said,
I did lean that way as well, but
I was surprised when I started crunching the numbers on this game. To tell you the truth, how good both defenses were. They were both better than I thought they were. So I do agree with you, and I'll be pulling for it. But I hope it's a close game that we see on Saturday. Anyway, coming up next, I'm going to talk about Connecticut at Syracuse. And I'm going to give you my free pick on that. You can watch all our videos at pregame.tv.